Oops. Sorry, went the wrong way. Oops, it went the wrong way again. Sorry, I'm just trying to get this a little straight. Just bear with me. Oh, that's better. Okay, sweet. All right, looks like we have 2 on. Awesome. We'll just give it a couple seconds to see if there's a few more coming on tonight. It is Make It Monday with Karen. And all right, so we got some more people coming on. Sweet. Okay, so I'm bringing you my Make It Monday. And I do this every Monday, most Mondays. I don't think I've missed. Maybe I missed just because of family or something out of town. But on Monday at 7, I bring you a card or a project or paper pumpkin, alternatives, whatever it might be. And tonight I'm bringing you a new stamp set called Nature's Prints. And it's a cling stamp set, and it's available in the 2022 to 2023 annual catalog. So I'm mass producing 50, and if I get if I get tired of this design, I may change it up. But I have 50 for our customers, and I have another swap that I'm in when I'm traveling to Utah. I need to make 76 cards, so I may make this one, or I may not. I may make something totally different, but I have everything together, so I'm going to try to show you how I mass produce. I'll only make 1 card tonight, but I'm going to show you how I have everything ready to go, and that way it's so much easier to mass produce and get done in a much quicker format than if you do 1 card at a time. So that's what I'll be doing tonight. So it looks like we got Carla, Louise, Carol, Debbie on so far for chats. Give me, you can share this video if you would like. That, of course, does help me grow my small little Facebook page. I've actually gone over, I think, 300 followers. It has taken me forever, but I'm slowly getting there. All right, so a couple of things that I'm going to do some just little housekeeping quickly. You guys, a lot of you on here are my Card Club subscribers, and I thank you so much, but I'm just going to go over real quick. The deadline to order and register for April Card Club is the 20th, so you have a few more days, just a couple more days. Wednesday, it will expire at 8 o'clock in the night, p.m. Eastern Time, so we're going to be making 8 cards this month, and I'm focusing on the Bamboo Beauty. Now, I've had this stamp set for quite a long time, and I'm finally using it. I love the detail of the bamboo, and this stamp set is carrying over into the new catalog, so that's really helpful. So you'll at least have this one for at least a year, maybe longer. And then the Symbols of Fortune Designer Series paper is featured in this card club. I like this one because it does have that kind of bamboo feature in it. And you can kind of see, you know, it not this one, but like this one. And there's a couple other patterns in the 12 by 12 specialty paper. So we'll go over these really quick. I've got a Sending Caring Thoughts card, basic gray. We got some definitely all shades of gray, some black in there, and just a simple triple stamping. So first, second, and third generation ink and evening evergreen. This is stamped in a Memento black. So that's one card. And then this one here is in soft succulent and also evening evergreen. And nice little background of that designer series paper in that gold. So that's what makes it specialty. Here's the bamboo stamped in evening evergreen. And then card number 3 here is just some really nice gold with a nice little hint of like a strip underneath here that will just sneak right in there. And we've got the Horizon dies, and I stamped right on those. So we've got basic gray, and we also have, I think it's smoky slate. And then the inside, I love how this paper here is in crumb cake and white. It looks really nice with the gray and especially the evening evergreen. So that's card number 3. And then we get more into a feminine side with the Grateful for All That You Do card. This is a tearing technique, and I'm using the bow punch with crumb cake, soft succulent, and there's a little tulip right here. Of course, that punch is super popular right now. You guys have seen me use it a lot. So, and then on the inside, you're going to take that little scrap that you tore off and put it on the inside panel. And I stamped that foliage in soft succulent. You can stamp it in evening evergreen if you wish, if that's what you have. And then in this card club, you'll get a package of the champagne rhinestones and a very new Wink of Stella. And again, here is, in the 6x12 full pack of the specialty paper for just $39. So 8 cards, lots of projects. You'll have lots of supplies left over. And then my other class that I'm offering, this one expires on the end of the month. So April 30th, it cuts off at noon. And this is featuring the Wildlife Wonder. Again, this stamp set is also carrying over to the new catalog. And that's why I chose it. I want you guys to make sure that you have a stamp set that you're going to be using for at least 12 months, right? So this one makes really nice masculine cards, but these designs all kind of suit me, and I am a female, so I love all these cards too. And it's featuring the, oh gosh, I'm drawing a blank. I hate when I draw blanks, right? Beauty of the Earth, of course. Beauty of the Earth Designer Series paper. And you'll get a 6x12 pack. And here's that wolf. Everything is stamped in either Early Espresso or Mossy Meadow. All right. And so I just love the detail that this stamp set really creates. Here's an owl sending birthday wishes. Even though that's in green, if you have evening or Early Espresso, that will work as well. This is stamped, and can't tell, but it is stamped in Early Espresso on gray granite. And then here's that little owl. You could take your Stampin' blends and add yellow to the eyes, and that will come through. This is the Bumblebee cardstock that's retiring. And look at that sweet fern embossing folder. This is by far my favorite so far, but I've only ordered one so far. So from the new catalog, but I'll be ordering more. And here's that fern embossing folder. It's a 3D, and that is in Mossy Meadow. Here's that bear, and then on the inside, we've got it half stamped, and then Early Espresso as the card base. And then here I'm incorporating all 3 of those animal prints, the owl, bear, and wolf. So small, medium, and large as based on the animal size. This one is in Misty Moonlight, which is retiring. We've got a hint of navy, Night of Navy here. And the inside here is You Mean So Much to Me. I used every single stamp in this stamp set, which is called Wildlife Wonder. Alrighty, so next up, that's all my commercials for you guys. Again, 2 more days for Card Club, and you've got like a week and a half for my Wildlife Wonder class. So let me just put this aside here. And then, let's see, doing some other housekeeping here. I don't see anything else that I wanted to go over. All right, so I'm going to grab a new pack of that Designer Series paper that I am working with. Okay, and it's brand new, so I have to take it out of the package so you can kind of see it. I used a bunch of this paper already in my swap card. So this, I believe, is going to be the swap card that I'm going to be doing for my swap in Utah. But it all depends on how quickly I can get 50 cards done. And if I think I can do it really quick, well, then I'll do another 76, I think it is. I think Dawn Stock is on here, so she's going to Utah too. So, so she's going to be making the same amount. So I want to just show you this paper because this is the paper I'm using. Again, let me just flip it over here so you can see the label. It is called Pretty Prints, and there's a lot of different colors that go with this. And I'll just list them really quick. Bermuda Bay, Blackberry Bliss, Calypso Coral, Coastal Cabana, Evening Evergreen, Gorgeous Grape, Petal Pink, Rich Raspberry, Shaded Spruce, Soft Seafoam, Soft Succulent, Sweet Sorbet, and of course your basic white. All right, so I'm going to show you the patterns. Now, I am going to be doing a paper share. I'm going to be getting that out. I'm hoping by Thursday. Contemplating a ribbon share too. So I'm not sure if Karen can handle all this stuff going on right now with an annual catalog coming out, but I'm going to do my best. I always do a paper share. So, all right. So this is the paper, Pretty Prints. And the reason why my paper share is going to be 6 by 12 this time, because I'm going to show you, I usually do it 6 by 6. So I just, you know, I cut it like this and cut it like this. And then that customer, there's going to be 4 customers. They get this stack, you know, 4. But this paper can only be cut and beneficial as a 6 by 12. And it makes really good scrapbooking paper as well. So I'm going to show you each print. Now I think there's 12 different prints. Well, 12 different, but there's a bunch of different colors here. But there's lots of different prints is what I wanted to say. All right, so we've got this print here. I hope you guys can see this. Yeah, I'll just leave it up. Okay, so this is the reason why I'm going to do 6 by 12, because if I cut this 6 by 6, well, this person up here and this one up here is really not going to see all of this down here, okay? So if I cut it 6 by 12, well, of course, this person's not going to get as much of the foliage, but at least they get something, right? So that's why I'm going with 6 by 12. It's going to be a little bit more money, of course, because you're getting double the paper. So that's one of the reasons why I'm doing that. And then this is another print here. Again, we got 4, I think there's 3 different prints per color scheme. And then on the back side here, it's kind of like a cloudy kind of effect there. And then here's another print. They all look kind of similar, but they are truly different. And then we'll flip this one over here. That one doesn't really matter, 6 by 6, okay? But it's that really big print that I really don't want to skimp on and, you know, cause an uproar. So that is why I'm going to be cutting it 6 by 12. Okay, so here's another beautiful print. And then here's this one. So you can kind of see, this is kind of a combination of Blackberry Bliss and Rich Razzleberry, of course. Those look like lilacs. I think they are. And I can't wait for lilacs to come to my house. We have a really small lilac bush and it doesn't produce very many. And my husband every single year will go and pick some lilacs for me, and he surprises me. I never know when he'll do it, but he does it several times during the lilac season. So my house really smells awesome when I get some lilacs here. So here's another one of those like kind of blank cloudy effects here. And then here's the Calypso Coral. And then this would look good with the Petal Pink. And then here's this color as well. And then this is the brightest one out of all of those colors. I really like that because of course it's garden green. And then here's this one too. So you can kind of see how it's being used with the 3 different colors, same patterns, but it's just really beautiful paper. And again, it is called Pretty Prints. The item number, if you want to jot it down for future use, is 159245. All right, so that's the paper I'm going to be using. Now, I said I was making 50 of these cards. Well, I'm not doing 50 tonight, but I'm going to show you how I have set myself up to start assembling tonight and to stamp. So let me just kind of tip this stuff over. I did use the lovely Labels Pick-a-Punch. This is carrying over. I haven't used it much, but it's a little tricky to use if you don't slide your paper in correctly. So you might not get it punched, you know, if you don't get it punched, it's going to look really odd. So you got to make sure that that paper gets way up there in the track. And there's 3 different sizes here that you can punch. And what I did was I punched, see, this one's not like it's good enough for me, but you can see how I did not put that all the way in, and I got this kind of like odd shape here. This one is perfect. So let me just bring this paper in here so you can kind of see it better. Hopefully my camera is like, it doesn't look like it's Well, maybe it's focusing. I'm trying to look through the phone at the same time. But anyway, that's what that punch does. I'm using that design. It does come in 2 different designs, more of a straight edge here. Again, that's Lovely Labels Pick-a Punch and carrying over to that catalog. All right, so in this little bin here, I'll just try to bring it a little bit closer. I have all those little banners ready to go, 50 of them. I have a 2-inch circle, a layering circle there. I actually use my 2-inch circle punch because I'm not going to die cut 50 of those. And it works just as well as the layering circles. And then here's some of the paper here. This is cut 2.5 by 2.5. So we have a square. And there's, in here, there's all different patterns of that rich raspberry, blackberry bliss kind of scheme here. So those are all 2.5 by 2.5. And then in here, I've got the Calypso Coral, kind of the background paper. Now this one is a little weird because I can get away with, my typical size on this card is going to be 1 3/4 by 3.5. But the way it's cut down, I wanted to use just about every inch of that paper. There's going to be some panels in here that are not the same size. They're going to be a little bit smaller. Okay, let me just compare. It's just about 1/4 of an inch, and that's fine. I can still get away with that, and it's all about placement. So I have 50 of those cut, and so 50 circles, 50 squares, and 50 banners. And then what I did was I embossed using the painted textures, carrying over, you guys. It's awesome. And then I probably embossed maybe 2/3 of them, and Glenn embossed the rest of them earlier tonight for me to help me out. And I have them all kind of stacked the same direction. So there's 50 in here. And then we have our envelopes. Now I don't have 50 here, but I've got a stack of them ready to go. And then the last thing, or next to last thing, is my cardstock. So my sample card, I decided to use thick, basic white. And these are all the card bases that and cards that I will need to make. So it kind of gives you an example of what Karen has in store for her over the next 2 days. And this card that I'm making is going to be going out to my customers that have ordered with me in the past, and also anybody requesting a new catalog as well. You can order one from my email, and it will cost $10, but I will send a coupon with the catalog, so you can receive that $10 back. So here's the card. I did photograph this early last night, and I totally forgot to put the linen thread bow on there, but I just quickly did that before I came on. So Calypso Coral, Blackberry Bliss, I love those two colors together, and a hint of the Old Olive here. So I'm going to make this card for you guys. I did sprinkle a little bit of the Wink of Stella on this little flower here, and then I stamped the flower over to the left side of the envelope, and on the inside I stamped it over here. So not a lot of stamping. This is probably going to take me the longest. Of course, it is a die cut. So my die cuts, or my dies, are not on my desk. Of course, I did not put them. Oh, yep. Nope, they are. I'm so organized today. All right, so I'm using the Natural Prints dies. These are probably going to be a must-have in your craft room. We can make a wreath. Okay, there's a little flower and some. Let me just show you. I actually created a template for you guys, and it's up on my counter there. Okay, so here we go. Natural Prints Bundle, and it's 158801. So here's the template I created. This has got a nice little kind of banner label. Here's that wreath. Here's a, so we got splatter, and then we have a flower here. So this was stamped in Bermuda Bay. Gorgeous grape. Here's that fern in Evening Evergreen. Matches the fern embossing folder. Here's this little kind of wheat dried flower image here. and you can die cut it. This was soft suede. Over here's Blackberry Bliss, and here's the die cut in Blackberry Bliss. Polished pink over here. With the individual die cuts, you have 3, and you've got 2 the same, and this was the opposite. This is Pale Papaya, and then we've got hello there, best wishes and happy thoughts. You're on my mind, a heartful thank you. So this is going to be a thank you card, and we're going to get started. So hopefully there's no questions, because I am totally not looking at questions tonight. I will go back and answer them at the end. Alrighty, so let's kind of move a little bit around. Give Karen a lot of space. And the only thing I did not mention is you need a scrap of white to die cut. So I have that kind of, I use just all the scraps I can in my little scrap bin. All right, so let's get started. So we've got the thick basic white. This is much thicker than your regular basic white. I don't tend to use this very much, but for my sample card, I did want to use it. So I've already cut this, of course, and it's 8.5 by 5.5. I've already pre-scored it at 4 1/4. So I'm just going to take my bone folder to just give that a nice little burnish. And it does kind of, what do I want to say? Oh gosh, right, it's a Monday. Anyway, it does make a nice crease is what I wanted to say. Okay. And then here's that embossed panel. Again, it's called Painted Textures. You can really put it on either way, but there is kind of a right and wrong side. This is, I would say, the debossed side, and then this is the embossed side. So that white is going to go right on there. I tend to use liquid glue on any kind of embossed panel. So let me grab that out, and hopefully this one will work. Yes, it will. All right, so we're just going to add the liquid glue all the way around, and especially some in the middle, because again, it's embossed paper and it just takes a little bit more glue to keep it flat down. So this is white on white, and my grid paper is white, so it's all white. I'm hoping to get some new grid paper that's actually wood grain. I just need to get to Hobby Lobby, and it's like 45 minutes away from where I live, so almost an hour actually. All right, so so far so good, right? And I've got to stamp too, because I need to stamp here. So let's get the Calypso Coral. Again, here are the ink colors. We've got Old Olive, Calypso Coral, and Blackberry Bliss. So we will take the Calypso Coral, and my emboss or my stamp is over here. It's a very large one. It will fit on an E-block. My E-block is, I only have one E-block, and it's already in another box with a kit. So I just grabbed an old Stampin' Up. I think this is an old Stampin' Up block here. So I'm going to grab my basic white, which is a scrap here. We're going to cut this down. I'm going to use the mini cut and emboss tonight. So all those dies will go through the mini cut and emboss machine. So isn't that really pretty? Very detailed stamp. And you could stamp that in Memento Black and use your blends too to make it look real nice. Another thing you could do, I thought of this afterwards, was stamp this in the Versamark ink and use heat embossing with gold powder. Wouldn't that look like super good, you guys? It would look so rich. But I don't have enough energy in me to emboss in gold 50 of these. So we're going to just call it good like that. While I have the Calypso Coral out, and I want to protect my work surface because I just brought out a brand new piece of grid paper and I need to order more. So I'm trying to keep this as clean as I can. So I'm just going to ink that up again in the Calypso Coral. I'm just going to stamp this right in a corner here. Let's add a little bit of something. So we have a little bit of color on the inside. Then we're going to use the same stamp and we're going to add a little color to our envelope. So this one here is my sample and I just kind of made it stamp this way. On this one, let's add it and let's make it go a little bit more straight. And let's get some more of that foliage on there, okay? So let's kind of put these together so you can see the difference. There's still enough room up there if you wanted to put your address label, and you have enough room over here to, or your return address, and you have plenty of room over here to write your own, your address you're going to send it to, is what I wanted to say. Woo! Okay, so we're done with Calypso Coral. And now what I would do, you guys, is I would totally do, I would mass produce. I would adhere all those embossed panels first. So I got that step done, and my brain is only thinking on one thing. Okay, so think of me doing this 50 times, right? And then stamping this foliage 50 times on some white. And of course the envelopes, I do 50 of those. So when you do it that way, you're going to save so much time. And that's how I produce all my craft fair stuff and products that I sell. I will just do everything at the same time. All right, so here's some 2 circles here. And let me just explain what I mean by that. So I would lay out 3 of these little 2-inch circles. And I know I'm going to be stamping in Old Olive. Actually, I need to stamp off. So we're going to create a little happy face. We got 2 eyes and a nose. And that fern stamp is what I'm going to use. So when I kind of experiment as to do I want to use 1st or 2nd generation ink for a background, I always do stamp it once, twice, and 3 times, just to see what I want to, what kind of level of ink I want for the background. I really like, this is way too dark because the Blackberry Bliss and that tiny skinny font will not come through on that. This one I think is just a little bit too light. So I'm going to try the medium one and see how that goes. So again, I would stamp off and then stamp on. Okay. And then ink it up again, stamp off and stamp on. So when you're creating little, when you're creating and mass producing, make sure you have radio on or some good music or a movie just to make it go by a little bit faster. And I always need to have something playing in the background. All right, so pretend I just did 50 of those. And now I'm going to produce the sentiment. So just think about what you want this fern. Do you want it to go straight up and down, or do you want to put it at an angle? I always kind of like mine at an angle, just gives a different kind of look. And then I'm going to find that heartfelt thank you. And when you stamp this, your eyes need to go on a heartfelt because it's going, especially in a circle, it doesn't really matter. But if you are stamping this on like a strip and you want it straight, then you got to focus on a heartfelt. Okay, so that's what it looks like. I need to get that in the middle a little bit better. So let me just try that one. Okay, so this is kind of how I mass produce. Now that fern might be a little bit too dark, so I might think about changing that up and go 3rd generation ink. So I'm going to actually do that, and I'm going to switch it over because it's going to stamp a little bit differently on basic white versus just scrap paper. This is just copier paper. So let's try this. Whoa, almost put that in Blackberry Bliss. All right, so we got Old Olive. So 1, 2, and 3. Okay. I think I'm actually going to like 3rd generation ink better. So this is kind of how you kind of figure things out, right? Yeah, I definitely going to like that little bit lighter fern instead of the darker fern. So if we put these 2 together, you can kind of see that the thank you or the thank gets a little lost, where you can see it a little bit more on this right one here. Okay, so we're done with that. Pretend we just stamped 50 of those. And then we will kind of put things together here. So hopefully I haven't lost you guys. And we are going to take our panel here, and here's all my stacks. Okay, my stacks of Designer Series paper, and this is again 1 3/4 by 3 1/2. I want this to go in here, and I want it to be centered amongst that 4 by 5 1/4 embossed panel. And I'm going to use my liquid glue on this because I'm going to be putting this panel right on top of that embossed panel, and we just need to use our liquid glue. And this will only be showing a little bit on the card, but it's going to give a nice little background of Calypso Coral. And if you have directional paper, it doesn't really matter because let me just show you how much is going to be shown. See, it's only a little bit. So you could use scraps even to just get this underneath the Blackberry Bliss. But it's easier for me just to cut. So we have that one on. And next I've got the 2.5 by 2.5 panel. And that's what it would look like from the back side. Of course, we want to give it a little bit of love with the rich razzleberry. It looks like that's a butterfly in the background, but I can't really tell. And then we've got some ferns and, oh, what is that plant? I'll think of it. Queen Anne's lace. I'm pretty sure that's what that is. So this is directional, and you're going to want to make sure that you're putting it on correctly because you're going to see more of this. And so I'm going to just layer this on this Calypso Coral panel, and I'm centering it. So it's about 1/2 inch on both sides. And just give it a good press because this is all uneven with that embossed panel. We want to make sure it sticks. Then the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take that strip of Blackberry Bliss, and this is 4 inches wide and then just 1/2 inch. And I'm going to take that lovely Labels Pick a Punch, and this is a hard one. This is the hardest punch I use. So there's these little tracks here, and it fits 1/2, 3/4, and 1 inch of paper cardstock. And I'm going with the center track, and you just make sure it's all the way in there, and you got to make sure it's in the track. And I'm just going to punch it, and that's the little edge we get. And then we're going to slide this one in here and punch and see what happens, you guys. I'm glad this happened because I did not have that all the way in there, so it did not punch correctly, right? So I would have to cut this off and punch it. So I can do that on here. Let me just take these little scissors and see if I can get this a little bit better. I don't think I was in the track. There we go. So that one's better. So that's what we're using is the Pick a Punch, Lovely Labels Pick a Punch. That's a lot of words to say, right? Okay, so here's a different one. It's I just put that one over on the side because it's a little bit smaller and I need a little bit longer length. So, all right, we are needing to use the mini cut and emboss to die cut this little foliage here. So let me get this in here. You will notice I now have washi tape on the handle because I needed that and I just grabbed a bunch. You guys know I usually forget that. So I've got number 3, number 2, and then I have my stamped floral. I'm just going to cut this out because I want to save as much of that white as I can because we'll use it, of course, for stamping. And then here we go with this die cut. And then I've got some washi tape on here. The mini cut and emboss in the regular cut and emboss machine will, in the new annual catalog, guess what? There's magnets. There's magnetic plates, you guys, for the mini and the regular one. So that is going to be my first item that I put on my order. I've already been able to pre-order, but I can't, like we can't order everything in the catalog. We can only pick off the pre-order list, and those magnets were not on there. So I'm super bummed about that, but they will be on my order come May 3rd. All right, so hopefully I have that good. So we're going to die cut this. Again, I would stamp this 50 times and then I would die cut them 50 times with a good movie on or a good show. And then, oh, I did that really good. So I almost perfectly got that. I did a really good job on this one, you guys. Okay, so see how easy that is using your washi tape. Of course, it's going to be a lot easier when we have that magnet plate. Put that die over there. And then the rest of it is very easy to assemble. So let's bring our card back here. And the next item that we want to put on here is that lighter fern here with a heartfelt thank you. We're going to pop this up because it needs to be risen up off the card itself. So we're going to grab our Stampin' Dimensionals and we're going to use 3. We'll create our triangle. Make sure they're good and pressed down there so you don't pull them off when you take the backings off. And that's easy to do. Okay, so then, did you guys know that Stampin' Dimensionals are on low inventory? So if you use a lot of them like I do, you probably should order them. I don't know when they're going to go on back order, but I did notice they are on low inventory. Okay, so there we go. This is kind of boring. You could leave your card like this and call it good, but we're going to add this foliage here. We are going to use some Stampin' Dimensionals to give this one some dimension too. And I'm going to think I used, I know I used at least 3. Let me just see. Oops, let me take the backings off here. And I think I want to put maybe an edge piece going this way right here. That way we don't have to add 2 more. You could use a mini Stampin' Dimensional as well. Okay, so now I'm looking at this leaf here, and where do I want it to hit? I want it to hit right in this white space. So I'm not cutting off the sentiment here by putting it too far up high or too far in. So I'm just going to aim for here. Oh wait, sorry, I almost screwed up. This little banner's got to go on too, right? That's why I added it. It kind of breaks up those designer series paper and adds a little bit of interest. All right, this always is happening, but I've got my nice little quilting pin here, and let's just give that a little push through there. There we go. Okay, then this banner's going here about 1/4 inch in from that 2.5 inch square. Now we'll put the foliage on here. So we're going to aim for this white space right here. And this one's going to be, oh, you know what? I think I need to move this up a little bit. We can do that. If I didn't, then that stem is going to be off that Blackberry Bliss, and I don't want that to happen. So let's move this up a little bit. I'm not going to press this one down until I know I've got this one for good. So see where I want this stem? I want this stem over that Blackberry Bliss. So that means I need to bring this label up as well. Okay, so that's good. And now this one's good. Okay. Then we've got that linen thread. I've already made a bow ahead of time. So just think of me creating 50 bows. I'll use my bow maker, that is for sure. So I'm just going to add this right here. Okay, I had it stuck on a glue dot. Let me just take some ribbon scissors here. I've got 2 pair. These are just handy right on my desk. All right, next is going to be the polished dots. And I chose these because they are carrying over. It's a safe embellishment to order right now. And it's got that kind of petal pink, kind of clear. And when you put this down, it kind of looks like Calypso Coral as well. So let me just grab, I'm going to put a larger one here. Actually, yeah, I'm going to put it over here. I'm just going to mimic what I did earlier. So I used 2 of the large, I put one down here, and I put one over here. And then I grabbed a little tiny one and I put it over here on that 2.5 by 2.5 inch panel. The final thing I've done with this card, of course, is we're going to add some Stella, and I'm just doing a little bit of brush stroke over the flower, just very lightly, because that ink on the flowers is going to bleed a little bit. All right, I hope you can see that. Probably you can't. And then if you wanted to, you could carry it over to the inside. Just really quick, just add a little bit. What's happening is when I hit this area here, that flower is getting a little bit brighter. Okay, and then if I want, I can go back to my envelope. I probably won't do all of this because that's going to take forever, but we'll see how long it does take me to put together those 50 cards. So we're almost done this one, and guess what? Now I have 2 complete. Okay, so that is our card for tonight. I have 1 to show you guys. Let me just kind of put these on my desk here. So here's the one we just made. The envelope, it stamped that a little bit differently than the first one. And then here's that sample. And here is this one, okay? Both of them had those linen threads, bows, and 3rd generation ink here. And you got your Blackberry Bliss. So what do you guys think? Let me go back and see if there's any kind of questions or anything before I take off and start mass producing. So, oh, Carla, it's snowing in Pennsylvania. Oh, it's coming our way. We already know. But New York, actually, over the Adirondacks, they're going to get most of it. So we're supposed to get like 1 to 3 inches. That's fine, because guess what happens when we call it the poor man's fertilizer here in Vermont, because when the snow flies this time of year and you get like 2-3 inches, there's all those nice chemicals and fertilizer in there, and it will just green up your grass really quick. All right, so I think that's it. So sweet. All right, you guys have any other questions? If not, I'm gonna sign off and head over to my TV to put a nice little movie on, because I don't watch any TV on a Monday because there's really nothing that I like on a Monday. Tuesday I like to watch New Amsterdam, but that's on at 10 o'clock. But I still end up watching it. So I don't know, I'll find something good, some good movie on, and I'm gonna start making these cards. So you guys have a great week. I will catch you on Friday with my YouTube Live. I do have my paper pumpkin box, but I haven't opened it yet to see what's inside. I don't think I'm going to have time to do alternatives. I will probably put together a couple more cards for you guys using some of my new product. Maybe I'll just stick with this stamp set so you can see a few different options with it. Because it does come, this stamp set, Nature's Prints, is teamed up with a different designer series paper. It's all blue, and I didn't want to do that for my sample card. I wanted to give it a little bit of color. So maybe I'll work with that blue paper. I won't tell you the name of it because I don't remember it. So anyway, you guys have a great week, and I will talk to you later.